Hi everybody, welcome to the May 18th, 2018 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. I'm your host, Dominic Dezzutti. Let's get a quick take on the United States Supreme Court ruling this week that states may legalize and regulate sports betting. While currently illegal in Colorado, lawmakers are considering submitting a bill next year to overturn the Colorado ban. Patty Calhoun from Westward. Gambling has a funny history in Colorado. We went full bore with just a couple of cities, with Central City and Blackhawk and Cripple Creek, thank you. But other attempts to broaden gambling in Colorado have failed. And they've taken a variety of things. It was dog racing, it was other kind of places, all kinds of different stuff. Do you think Coloradans are going to want to see sports betting in Colorado?
Well, they would like to see sports betting on their own teams if they won, which is going to be one of the challenges with Colorado teams. I think, where's the harm in this? If you do it right and it's regulated so that you do not people are not being ripped off. It's, as a vice goes, yeah, there are plenty of people who lose money on betting, but they're going to figure out how to do it. But we're going to see instead Cripple Creek, Central City, and Blackhawk, especially Blackhawk, you're going to see big lobbying efforts because they don't want anybody's gambling money to go anywhere other than in their own slot machines, if they possibly can. So over the next 6 months, we'll see how those efforts go and see if they are able to stymie the idea of expanding gambling outside of it.
That's a good point, Patty. Michael Fields joins us from Americans for Prosperity. What do you think about Coloradans? They want to embrace this kind of gambling. It's different, and frankly, in one way or another, a lot of people have engaged in it. People have talked about, well, the NFL was against gambling, but they have gone full bore on fantasy football and the different elements that you can gamble there. So is this something that you think will be more palatable to Coloradans?
Yeah, I think it could be, and the same legislators that worked on the fantasy sports bill last year are the ones that are going to be working on this. I think it was interesting that it took so long for this to happen on the national level because it is a states' rights issue. I mean, just blocking states from doing this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's a big blow to Las Vegas. But as you mentioned, only 3%, I believe, of sports gambling is happening legally in Vegas anyway. So I think a lot of states look at this as a way to get revenue. Here in Colorado, you'd have to go to the ballot. You'd have to be able to keep the revenue if it's over the Tabor cap, et cetera. But I think there could be some movement on this. As you mentioned, it has mixed results. But to Patty's point, the Broncos were 5-12 last year. So everybody who wants to bet on them, maybe they need to wait until they get a little bit better.
Let's slow your roll. Penfield Tate joins us, attorney at QTAC Rock, also a longtime state lawmaker. And speaking of being a lawmaker, Penn, tell me if the idea here that lawmakers are going to see a potential big price tag. With marijuana, it was kind of there, but there were a lot of pitfalls and still some constituencies that weren't so hot about it. I'm not sure if this has the same stigma, and with the big price tag on it, boy, it seems like it would inspire a lot of lawmakers, but I haven't been there, you have. What do you think?
This is going to be huge, and it's no coincidence that the same day the decision was announced, you have Representatives Alex Garnett and Cole West on TV saying, we're already working on a bill. I mean, the session just ended 3 weeks ago, and they're working on a bill for next January. It's the second coming of the gold rush. There's a huge amount of betting on sports activities. And by the way, everybody, you can bet on your team to lose, too, and still win a bet. So don't let the record of the Broncos or the Rockies or anybody else confuse you. You can bet on them to do what they've done most recently. States, I think, all of the states are going to look at this as a way to supplement their general funds. They're going to look at a way to pass a law to regulate it, control it, and to tax it. And to tax it heavily and to make some money. By contrast, I suspect the sports leagues are probably all sitting in some rooms in New York right now figuring out, number one, is there some legislation we can get Congress to pass to stop this in light of the court decision, or number two, we've got to have a 50-state strategy now because this is coming. And I know some states are still in session. I think Illinois is in session, and they're already talking about their legislation to allow it and to tax it. So we're going to see this.
Yeah, you are seeing some states, I think it was New Jersey and or Delaware, like,
well,
hey.
New Jersey's with a lawsuit emanated from a town in New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, they're thinking about
Right.
trying to make progress as soon as possible.
Right.
Krista Kiefer rounds out the panel, Denver Post columnist. It's great to have a columnist in the Denver Post right now. You're a rare breed. Krista, Colorado has a funny history embracing something like this. We were one of the first 2 states to legalize marijuana, recreational, after already having it medical for a long time. Yet we've limited our gambling, but we still have some gambling. We kind of like riding the fence here. Where do you think we'll come down when it comes to sports betting?
I think that folks are going to embrace it because unlike a sort of noisy slot machine in your backyard, this is something that can be done without evoking that kind of NIMBY, hey, I don't want it near me. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I personally don't gamble, not because I think it's immoral. I just don't feel lucky. And so if people want to gamble and it's going to bring some funds into the state, why not?
It follows the theory that my grandmother always had about gambling. She didn't like gambling. She's like, I'd rather spend my money on a good meal. At least I know I got something with a good meal. So I'm with you there. That is all the time we have for CIO Postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.